Have you ever thought there was something fundamentally wrong with you because of things that you thought and felt? Maybe selfish desires, aggressive impulses, or taboo fantasies? Have you ever felt guilt and shame for feeling fear and anxiety, anger and projection, envy and jealousy, maybe even for people that you love and want to see do well? What most people don't realize, because people think it is just them, is that those are very natural and normal thoughts and feelings. They are referred to as your Jungian shadow, as identified by Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. The shadow represents the unconscious aspect of your personality, comprised of all your repressed ideas, weaknesses, desires, instincts, and shortcomings. These are the parts of your personality that you're not particularly proud of and that you try to keep hidden from the world, even hidden from yourself, because they fill you with shame. But everybody has a Jungian shadow. Even Mother Teresa. She even talked about the shame of her impure thoughts and doubts about her faith. Mahatma Gandhi was open about his personal struggles and moral dilemmas. He wrote extensively about his own shortcomings of stealing and lust. Martin Luther King Jr. acknowledged in his writings that he faced moments of doubt and despair in his fight for civil rights. Confronting the shadow is not a sign of weakness, but part of the human experience, essential for personal growth, depth of character, and true authenticity. I heard a parable of St. Peter needing a break from guarding the pearly gates. So Jesus goes over to St. Tom and says, "Hey, Tom, please do me a solid and take over as guardian of the gate for a bit. If we get any new visitors, either check them in or turn them away." Tom asks, "How will I know who to admit?" Jesus says, "Good question. I'm not really sure what Peter does." "I know," he said. "How about this? Just ask them, who is Jesus? If they describe me correctly, let them in. If not, turn them away." Tom says, "Brilliant, JC. I got you." So JC goes away for a few hours, I don't know, to play pickleball or something. Then he comes back and asks, "So, Tommy boy, how'd it go?" Tom says, "I think I really got this thing figured out." "Super," says Jesus. "Who did you see?" "Well," Tom says, "the first person I saw I asked, 'Who's Jesus?' And she said, 'Jesus is love, Jesus is kind, Jesus is fair.'" And Jesus says, "What did you do with her?" Tom says, "Well, I sent her through." "Okay. Who else did you see?" asked Jesus. Tom says, "The next person I asked, 'Who's Jesus?' He says, 'Jesus is strong, Jesus is powerful.'" "And what did you do with him?" asked Jesus. "I sent him through," replied Tom. "Did you see anybody else?" Jesus asked. Tom says, "Well, yeah, but I don't want to tell you about the last person." Jesus looks at him squarely and says, "Thomas, tell me about that person." "Well, I asked him, 'Who is Jesus?' And the guy said, 'Jesus is vindictive. Jesus is mean. Jesus is cruel and petty.'" And Jesus asked, "Oh, and what did you do with him?" "Well, I sent him back, of course," replied Tom. And then Jesus looked at Tom with all his wisdom, all his warmth, and all his patience and said, "But Tom, that last person saw me exactly the way I am." But what he failed to see was my daily efforts to not be that way and my huge efforts to not act on any of that. And that is the lesson I'd like to impart to you here today. Number one, we all have shadow thoughts, feelings, desires. Even the most virtuous and revered amongst us grapple with their Jungian shadows. This struggle is a universal human experience, integral to personal development and authenticity. And number two, we don't have to resolve them. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter what you believe inside. What really matters is how you act. To put a spin on an MLK quote, "You will not be judged by the thoughts of your mind, but by the actions of your character." And number three, cut yourself some slack. Let yourself off the hook. You're not bad, broken, defected, demented, or deranged. What you are is human. And humans are constructed of both an incredible light of goodness and a shadowy, dark side. You will never eliminate the shadows, and that should not even be your occupation. But what you can do is amplify your light of goodness so bright that it drives your shadowy, dark side into the smallest corner possible. So never mind the dark. Work on intensifying and magnifying your light. I really do hope that this understanding brings you some solace, validation, and comfort. And if you are so bold, after making yourself some notes in your Darren Daily Journal about what we've discussed, I'd love to read your thoughts, comments, or reactions on what we talked about here today below.